Theresa May has said she wants to accelerate Brexit, and if she listened to Jacob Rees-Mogg, she probably could. Yesterday I reported about how the European Union is complaining that the negotiations with the UK over Brexit just aren't quick enough, and while I understand that the EU is being purposefully difficult, another report I did yesterday was about how the EU is punishing the UK. I think they're right about the UK's lack of progress. I understand that the parliamentarians don't want it to happen in many cases. They're constantly bickering about what Brexit means, etc. So it's not going well. But now Theresa May is claiming that she wants to accelerate and intensify the UK's Brexit negotiations after she publishes, by the way, the upcoming white paper, which will lay out her vision, or her government's vision, of the UK's future relationship with the European Union. The Express reported on this story, and they said, speaking at 5 AM after a mammoth 10 hours of negotiations at the EU summit, the Prime Minister said she wants to see a similar response from other European leaders. Talking to journalists in Brussels, she said, "On Brexit, I have been stressing that we want a deal that works for the UK and our European partners, and if we work together, we can support each other's prosperity and security." EU leaders and the UK government were hoping that they would have completely agreed a deal by this November. "We are going to be publishing our white paper shortly, and I want to see the negotiations accelerating and intensifying thereafter." And all this is very easy to say. It's just classic Theresa May talking points. I want a good deal for the British people. Brexit means Brexit. We're going to make a success of it. All this, it's all talk. It's a lot harder to actually do it. And as she announces that she actually wants to speed things up, she's being given ultimatums in the background by senior Tory Brexiteers. So the Express also reported on a story that says that Theresa May's been given an ultimatum by 4 senior Tory Brexiteers, and they said, as the Prime Minister met with other European leaders yesterday in Brussels, Jacob Rees-Mogg, former Cabinet Ministers Ian Duncan-Smith and Owen Paterson, and former Brexit Minister David Jones said that the EU must be made to realise it will not get the £39 billion divorce bill unless it changes its approach to the talks. The tough line from the 3 most senior Brexiteers on the Tory backbenchers comes amid growing anger over the intransigence of Brussels negotiators and their refusal to discuss anything until the Northern Ireland border issue is resolved. Specifically, Jacob Rees-Mogg said, "It is inconceivable that Parliament will vote to spend £39 billion without a trade deal. We want a pro quo for billions of quids." And Jacob Rees-Mogg is right, isn't he? 39 billion quid hanging over us. That's our negotiating point, and Theresa May isn't even using it. It's just accepted that we're going to be giving them it. Now, here lies Theresa May's solution. It's right before her eyes. She can't even see it. And when these senior Brexiteers tell her to use the 39 billion as a negotiating point, they're not trying to cause trouble. They want Brexit to be a success. They want Theresa May to make a success of it. So when they tell her to use it, they're not causing trouble, they're trying to help. Now imagine if Donald Trump went into this situation with 39 billion quid hanging over him. He's going to use that as a negotiating point, and you know what? It'd work. So I hope Theresa May would see that. You know, she could go into the European Union and tell them, listen guys, if you want your 39 billion quid, given that we've already accepted we're going to be giving it to them, you've got to play ball, you've got to negotiate with me, and you've got to give me more of what I want. If she went in and did that, and if she was the bloody difficult woman she claims to be, then imagine the Brexit deals we will be getting. If Theresa May wants to speed up negotiations, she simply needs to negotiate better. The behaviour from the European Union surrounding negotiations is completely unacceptable. With 1.5 million jobs in Germany depending on a good relationship between the UK and the EU, with the many trading opportunities between the UK and the EU, and the 39 billion quid hanging over the EU in divorce bill fees, we know we have the upper hand. If Theresa May wants to improve negotiations, she can do it. Tory ministers, by the way, when they tell her that the 39 billion quid is her negotiating tool, and they tell her to consider walking away, they're not causing trouble, they're trying to help her. If Theresa May wants to speed up Brexit negotiations, it's time for her to tell the EU that we're willing to walk away. A report that came out of a parliamentary committee earlier this week, which outlined their ideas about how MPs should be allowed to stop the Prime Minister from telling the EU that she wants to walk away, tells us exactly what we need to know about our politicians. They are working against us, and they are working against Brexit. Like her or loathe her, it's time for MPs and for voters to get behind Theresa May on Brexit. If she gets the support she needs, and if she listens to the Brexiteers in her own party, and if she receives the support from the politicians in her government and in Parliament, then Brexit negotiations can speed up and we can make a success of it. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, remember to like and subscribe.